the beginning of all time, two powerful beings were questioning their very existence, because they didn't know how they had been created. So on a great occasion, both beings were able to meet face to face, while one of the beings was a very handsome man named Keiga, which his eyes were a bright blue color, unlike the other entity, which was a very beautiful woman with silver hair. However, both warriors possessed an incredible... Who are you? I thought that only I existed in this whole vast universe. First of all, you have to address me as His Excellency, since a simple guy like you is not lucky enough to know my name. Don't you know that I'm the first existence of this whole place? You're totally wrong, honey, since the first existence is me. Keiga was able to say anything more, was sent to fly to a planet that was nearby, but these planets did not possess life at all, so Mayuki would throw hundreds of energy arrows at his rival, which, realizing that hundreds of attacks were directed towards him, and being much more, he wasn't able to dodge all. Divine Restraint! As if it were a mirror, all Mayuki's attacks would return, but to Kaiga's surprise, Mayuki was able to send his attack flying with a powerful blow. So both of them crossed glances and instantly, they launched themselves against each other. Although the difference was not clear, Mayuki's power was able to overcome Keiga's power. However, Keiga's skill in combat was unparalleled, since she was able to connect several blows, which were able to enrage the beautiful goddess. Her battle would last for thousands of years, because they both seemed to have unlimited energy. So as millions of years passed, both warriors began to have feelings for each other, so they became partners. I want to have a son who possesses the capacity of creation as I have. I understand, and it's okay, let's have our son. Both gods were able to create the first offspring of the whole place. That's right, Zeno-sama had been born, but Keiga would soon realize that that warrior, despite being born with an overwhelming power, had the consciousness of a simple child. So Keiga, in the same way, would offer to create a new warrior who is able to protect him. Since the little Zen possesses your ability of creation, this new warrior will possess all my ability in battle. But Mayuki would completely refuse because Mayuki's real plans were to absorb Keiga to stay with all his power and his skill in combat. I don't agree, Keiga, since we have only one child who will be able to change creating life. Mayuki, I know, but you have to understand that this warrior doesn't possess the fighting ability. He only possesses overwhelming power. No, Keiga, I don't want you to keep on the subject. Mayuki would leave the place at a great speed along with Zeno-sama. However, Keiga, possessing almost unlimited power, would begin to channel a large part of his power and his abilities, so he would begin to create a powerful warrior, who be a prodigy in battles, and his power doesn't stop growing. It had already been a few months since Mayuki had left with Zeno-sama, so in all that time, Keiga was about to finish his long-awaited creation. But he would notice how Mayuki's power had suddenly risen, as well as his speed, and was about to get to where this one was. Damn, I told you no! Now I'm going to end your life and absorb you and your damn creation! Divine Paralysis, Angelic Restraint. Keiga's visual power had grown so amazing in a way that all this time leaving Mayuki motionless was not difficult to him. So Keiga quickly would grant him all the required knowledge, and a large sphere of energy would move throughout the universe so that he would not be affected by the great battle. Mayuki was able to destroy the mental power, so at the moment both warriors began to exchange millions of blows at amazing speeds. Keiga was taking a beating due to a lot of his power being bestowed on his creation, so on this occasion, he had been able to be completely outclassed. No, I'm not gonna die for nothing, you damn. Since you're such pathetic conditions, I'll make it clear to you. I always wanted to keep your power, but I still needed you, and you're already a hindrance to me. Keiga, with her last reserves, was able to teleport behind Mayuki, so she would use a big explosion with her own body. But the power she possessed was not able to end Mayuki's life. So at the end of that big explosion, Mayuki would be seen furious with multiple wounds all over her body. But what made her angrier was that she wasn't able to. Damn worm, I knew that I had granted a great power to your creation. So I will find her, and I will keep all the power that you've granted her. Mayuki, while trying to collect energy, would fall to the ground just like too much blood spreads all over the body. That's right, that explosion, despite not possessing the power to be able to end his life, he was able to enter his entire energy system, so it was absolutely impossible for him to channel energy. You unhappy worm! I swear I'll finish with your pathetic creation, no matter what it costs me! Mayuki, with all the power he felt, was able to create the first angel. That's right, Daishinkan had been created, so his job was to guide Zeno-sama in the order and keep her equally protected. I promise that I'll do everything in my power to find the warrior who's able to leave her in this state, milady. Daishinkan, with his great skill in creation, was able to create the king's palace at all, placing Mayuki in one of the rooms so that he's able to fully recover. Daishinkan would teach Zeno-sama everything about creation. Thanks to Mayuki had granted him the required knowledge, so after a few thousand years, Zeno-sama was able to create 18 universes, which, thanks to Daishinkan, created the gods, the angels, and the Supreme, which all had a primary role in maintaining the balance in each of their universes and give life. Just like the angels should guide their gods in each of their tasks and be their teachers. Meanwhile, in a very distant place of all the 18 universes, despite having millions of years, the warrior's body was still in formation, since Keiga was not able to completely complete it. But with the little warrior, despite being a fetus, was able to have self-awareness, since he knew that all created beings were to look for him and annihilate him. So he would camouflage himself in Universe 7 in a warrior race called the Saiyans. On that planet, he spent millions of years until a moment in which his body had been completely formed. Just like all the knowledge that had been granted to him, so he quickly teleported to an inhospitable planet. With all this great power, I'm able to even speed up my metabolism to quickly reach my adulthood, and that's what I will do. The little warrior would begin to channel all his power, with which he would be able to even cause various havoc around the place, but having previously placed an energy barrier, absolutely nothing happened. That warrior, named Kakarot, was able to reach his adulthood, so he wanted to test all his power, and even master each of his skills that his father transmitted to him. As far as I know, I have a brother, who at this time is called the King of All. This will be very interesting because I know that at some point I'll face him. Kakarot, having despite reached his adulthood, he would start meditating as the sudden change had been able to affect his power as well as abilities. Meanwhile, in the realm of All, Daishinkan was very thoughtful. Who was the warrior who left my lady in terrible condition? After millions of years, no such warrior has appeared. Did he die? Die! I'm really bored. How about we do something? I agree with you, great Zeno-sama, but tell me, what is it that you would like to do today?
It seems to you if we fight again, please, because despite possessing so much more power than you, you're able to always beat me in fights.
Of course, my lord, there's no problem. And that's because you have the power of creation, and I possess the skill in combat. For that reason, I'm charged to protect you, my lord.
I also want to become much more powerful and be able to have the ability that you have in Daishinkan's combat.
Both warriors have gone into one of the training rooms that were in the palace, so they began to exchange several blows. Returning with Kakarot, he would realize how out of the 18 universes created, 6 of these universes possessed absolute evil. I wouldn't mind if these universes wipe out everything existing, but I have to improve my skills and better to wipe out negative energy barriers. Kakarot would begin to move at incredible speeds to Universe 13, so at the time of arrival, he was able to observe, like the whole universe, specialized in slavery and death, so that the god of that universe maintains a life of luxuries and comforts. It'd be a shame if he ends up with all his pawns. Kakarot, of an arrow technique with that Mayuki had previously, was able to destroy everything that existed in that universe, which would attract the attention of the god of destruction. That's right, the last 6 universes no longer possessed guardian angels to his power to be able to even overcome them. The god at a great speed would prostrate himself in front of Kakarot. I'm not interested in knowing who you are, but I'm going to end your pathetic life right now. I'm not going to forget that you were able to end my slaves. Kakarot was about to say something, was tied up, but as he had hundreds of battles, he was able to dodge the blow which had been aimed in his blind spot, which even surprised the warrior in front of him a little. Hundreds of years ago, with that simple move, I was able to end the life of a super warrior, which shows me that you have some talent. Even if you don't believe me, this is my first battle. You'll be the one whom I will be able to demonstrate all my skills. The somewhat annoyed god had thrown himself against Kakarot since he was being underestimated. Both warriors began to exchange several blows. However, despite the fact that Kakarot had no experience on the battlefield, he was able to compare himself to a god of the highest level. So the more the battle went on, the skills began to turn in favor of Kakarot, since at the moment Kakarot was able to connect a powerful kick in the face of Genshi, which had made him fall to the ground very badly wounded. The damage he had done to her had been incredible. Oh, this hurts. It's the first time a warrior's hurt me so much. Not even the high priest possesses all the power of his blows. Kakarot would begin to approach that god, so he would take him by the hair.
I've heard something very interesting.
Do you want to tell me who is the high priest? Don't say stupid things. Everyone knows who the high priest is, you worm. Kakarot was able to put his hand in his heart, so he ended his life without any mercy. I have to possess the necessary information, and according to my knowledge, my father, my brother Zeno, he's pure-hearted, but I have to be ready in case I have to face him. Kakarot would go to Universe 14. That's right, Kakarot had planned to end the life of the 6 gods who possessed negative energy, as their power was the highest of the 18 universes. Kakarot had headed towards the planet of the god of Universe 14. After having ended the life of Genshi, the god of Universe 13, Kakarot, at the moment of arriving at the planet, would notice as an incredible negative energy, he tried to bend it. However, Kakarot would release much more power, with which he was able to neutralize that energy, while from his back, a warrior was able to put his hand on his shoulder, which left Kakarot a little amazed, since he wasn't able to read his movements. Are you lost, little friend? I'm gonna count to 3. If you're still on my planet, I'll end your existence. Kakarot, of a great Pyrute, would be able to release a great kick, but for that god, it was completely easy to dodge his blow. So with a great power, he would hold Kakarot by the face, sinking him all over his planet. Kakarot would release much more power, with which he was able to get rid of the powerful grip, taking a little. I have so many years without fighting, but I plan to enjoy this battle like you have no idea. I offer you a chance to live, but you've completely wasted it. The power this guy possesses is amazing. I can't believe it. His power is so much that even my body trembles. It's nothing compared to the other worm. Sora would start walking towards Kakarot, which, with each step, hundreds of disasters were caused all over the place. But at the moment, a new power would be unlocked from Kakarot's body, having been able to adapt to the Saiyan race, so at the moment, in the same way as if it were a memory, he was able to observe his creator. My son, you are my greatest creation, and being able to adapt to that warrior race, your power will increase in an incredible way, so you will be able to even access transformation that they even do not know of its existence. Sora had launched himself against him, however an amazing power would be released from Kakarot's body. At the same time, all his hair turned a golden color, and lightning strikes fell all over the place, destroying a few parts of the battlefield. I feel like my power has been multiplied by at least 50 times. I'm ready to fight with you. Both warriors began to exchange hundreds of blows, which on this occasion were capable of causing some damage to Sora, and this would make him angry, releasing all his power, with which even every planet in his universe would be destroyed. Kakarot would be surprised since he didn't understand that his enemy had much more power. So at the moment, Kakarot would be surprised and, with a great blow, was sent flying, falling to the ground with incredible brutality. From that attack, you're no longer able to stand up anymore. But to his surprise, Kakarot would stand up once more, and instead of his power starting to decrease, he would start to increase, which left him surprised. I don't know what you are, but I'm sure that you're not an ordinary god, so I plan to finish you right this instant. Sora had launched himself against him, but a powerful beast roar had made him retreat hundreds of meters. Since the sonic slingshot had caused incredible damage, instantly Kakarot had appeared in front of Sora, beginning to massacre him with blows. Since on this occasion, the anger that transformed him granted him the same way was incredible. So he would be able to quickly torture Sora, but Sora, being an expert on the battlefield, was able to, which began to mark each of the veins through which the energy was transmitted. Kakarot would throw a powerful attack at him, but Sora, with extreme difficulty, was able to dodge it. I don't like to ask for help, but if I don't, this wretch is gonna kill me. Sora would try to communicate with the god of Universe 16, but before the god was able to respond to his call, he would be taken out of his thoughts with a powerful blow that would make him fall to the ground, vomiting large amounts of blood. You turned out to be a very powerful warrior, unlike the god trash of Universe 13, but I was still able to finish you off. Did you end Genshi's life? Kakarot would hold Sora by the hair, so he would ask him the same question about the great priest, But on this occasion, Sora would tell him who the Great Priest was, just as he was in charge of protecting the king of the all, Zeno-sama.
Wow, so a warrior with the fighting ability of Mayuki possessed. This would be more interesting than I thought.
Kakarot being able to end Sora's life, a warrior was able to grant him a powerful blow. He was being able to send Goku flying to a very distant planet because the power of that blow had been of another level.
Well, well. It's a surprise to see you in these conditions, Sora. I knew something bad was happening to you since you're very rarely communicated with me. You must be careful. He's a monster. I've awarded him hundreds of hits, and I have been cut several of his energy veins, but he's able to stand up again and again.
Kakarot at a great speed would begin to exchange several blows with the new warrior who had arrived, which would leave the god Tristan surprised, since after fighting with his companion, his power should have decreased. But in the same way, he was able to put in multiple predicaments since his blows had caused great damage to his internal system.
I have to help him. Otherwise, I'm sure that wretch will be able to end Tristan's life.
Sora was beginning to channel large amounts of energy into each of his wounds so that they would be able to heal, but the damage being so great, they weren't able to fully restore themselves.
The blows and attacks I received from that wretch have caused me a damage that is even difficult for me to repair.
Sora being taken out of his thoughts when a powerful sphere of energy was able to collide with him, causing him incredible pain. That's right, Kakarot had the knowledge and about the power that both gods possessed, and if they joined, they could be a threat.
I'm sure that when I master my power completely, they won't be able to do anything against me, but it's not the time.
Tristan wasn't able to do anything to stop that attack because he was regenerating his body as a powerful roar was almost able to take his life.
Miserable, I felt you were killing me with a simple slingshot of Sonic, but when we fight together, we'll finish with you.
That's right, Sora was able to withstand that powerful attack. However, his power had decreased in an amazing way, so he would be on guard.
It's not time to heal these wounds, because if I'm not able to help Tristan, this guy will end up separating us.
Both warriors then put themselves in a battle pose, so they had thrown themselves against Kakarot, the duo of gods, was able to grant some blows to Kakarot, which are almost capable of putting him out of combat. So instantly, with a great burst of energy, they tried to end his life. But Kakarot, without giving up, would respond in the same way. However, the difference in powers was clear, because at the moment, Kakarot would be defeated in that exchange of powers, falling to the ground very badly wounded and on the edge of death.
Yes, now your end has come, you worm, good for nothing.
I can't believe that guy is without a god has been able to give us so many problems.
Both gods would throw their last attack against Kakarot, which its end seemed inevitable. However, in his mind, his father was able to bow down before him.
My son, you can't die. I will show you a technique which you can use, but the price to pay will be hell. Because after this technique, you'll feel like all your bones are destroyed for week 1.
No matter the price, I'm a father. I'm not gonna die in this place. I'll bear it.
I knew you would say that, my son. This technique is called Hyper-Kaioken, with which your power is multiplied 1,000 times, and it is the lowest. It's compared to unlimited power, but only for the next 5 minutes. I trust you.
Thank you, Father. I knew this wasn't the day of my death. Hyper-Kaioken!
Kakarot, at the moment of activating the technique, an incredible power would be felt, with which he was even able to disintegrate the attack that was aimed at him. At the same time, both gods would fall to the ground on their knees, because the pressure was as if a superior being was in front of them, which even made it difficult for them to breathe.
What's going on? How have you been able to unleash all that power?
No, not even if power seems to be in another dimension. This power is comparable to the power possessed by the great priest Daishinken.
As Kakarot approached towards both of them, it would be said,
"So the power of Daishinken's compared to this amazing power. Definitely, despite being considered a prodigy, I have to become much more powerful."
Kakarot, in a quick movement, was able to grant multiple blows to both warriors, but although they seemed like common blows, the power had been otherworldly, since even they, being superior gods, had not been able to withstand that tremendous power. So they immediately fell to the ground, creating a large crater, while blood came out of their entire body, being at the limit.
I can't believe I'm being defeated by a mere mortal. This must be a nightmare.
You really are a powerful subject, but who are you? How is it possible that you don't know about the existence of the Great Priest?
They're going to die, so I don't lose anything that they know my true origin. I'm the brother of the one you know as Zeno-sama, and I need to meet with him.
Both gods were surprised by the information that was revealed to them.
So, the legend of 1,000,000 years ago turned out to be true. Mayuki-sama, you wanted to end your life to keep your power, but your father Keiga was able to get you to safety in an inhospitable place of everything existing. I'm surprised that they knew something about my origins, although there is a lot more information missing, but at this moment I plan to end their lives.
Please, spare our lives. We promise to serve you. Kakarot would start thinking about the request of both gods, but without warning, Kakarot would turn, stopping the fist of both gods.
I wanted to know if they really would. Since they haven't been able to communicate to the kingdom at all, they tried to attack me. We can't allow a guy from the same lineage of Zeno-sama to appear. Even if it costs us our lives, we'll end up with you.
Kakarot would begin to approach both gods, which on this occasion at the moment of approaching were charred, since Kakarot's aura would rise in an amazing way, being able to leave absolutely nothing of his enemies.
I'm surprised that the so-called Great Priest possesses a power similar to the Great Power. I have to become much more powerful.
Meanwhile, in the realm of all, a small rumble would be felt all over the place, which would draw Daishenkin's attention.
What was that little rumble? It's come from my lady's room.
Daishenkin, when he entered that room, was surprised to realize how large amounts of energy were traveling all over his body, but the spiritual form of the beautiful goddess would prostrate in front of Daishenkin.
Great Priest Daishenkin, I've been able to wake up, and by feeling so much vital energy, I can realize that millions of years have passed. You've done a good job.
Thank you, my lord, but where were you channeling all these gigantic reserves of power?
I'm channeling them from my authentic power, the power that useless Keiga destroyed, so you have nothing to worry about.
I understand, my lady. Do you want me to inform you about your return? If you have any request, you can let me know and I'll gladly fulfill it.
I really appreciate Daishenkin, but at the moment I just want to become able to be back completely, so it'll take a few more years.
Understood, my lady. In that case, I'll withdraw.
Daishenkin would withdraw from Mayuki's room, while at the moment hundreds of shadows and even souls could be seen spreading from the same floor, since the powerful Mayuki was feeding on the power of the beings from beyond, snatching all their soul. The first existence of the whole place, Mayuki would begin to devour millions of souls, without Daishenkin noticing. However, Daishenkin was very happy since his creator had returned after having spent millions of years.
I don't understand why my lady doesn't want me to report on her return, but she must have her reasons, although I would love to inform everyone about her great return.
Meanwhile, in Universe 14, we can observe a Kakarot as he walked all over the battlefield, but after several steps, he had fallen to the ground with serious injuries, since his entire body, and even his internal system, was completely destroyed by the blows of both gods. But the real reason was the price to pay for the Hyper Kaioken, which required an amazing endurance to be able to maintain the technique.
My body hurts too much. I don't know how to recover.
But by his mind, hundreds of memories of his father's abilities, it could be observed that, right, Keiga, he had not left his son helpless, since he had transmitted to him all the abilities that he had created after having lived for millions of years. So Kakarot's entire body would be enveloped in a great cloud of energy. While his entire body healed at an incredible speed, his internal energy system began to transport much more energy. But it did not cause any harm to Kakarot, since everything was restoring every part of his veins that were destroyed.
Really, thank you very much, Dad. Every day I'm more prepared, but I have to become much more powerful to defeat the new enemies.
So after about 2 months passed, in which Kakarot had completely recovered, but the power he had obtained after having recovered was a complete outrage. Since this time, his base state, the one very familiar to the Hyper Kaioken that he had used against both gods, which even left him surprised to the same.
Wow, this is amazing! I didn't think I'd be able to possess all this power. I have to train to fight with the other gods.
Kakarot would begin to meditate since he had enough knowledge to be able to increase his power without having battles. He only maintained battles to have a better experience against his other enemies. Meanwhile, Mayuki had been able to collect millions of souls, so his body had recovered almost completely. So Mayuki would try to stand up, but to his surprise, at the moment of standing up, he would fall sharply to the ground, vomiting too much blood, while his entire internal system went out of control. That's right, his own body was rejecting all the power that had been eaten from every soul. No! My power is gone again! Damn it! What happened? I was able to absorb much more power in the past. But Keiga appeared in front of Mayuki in her spiritual form. It's a pity that the little Zen I have granted him in essence about every living being, and with this, no being will be able to absorb his soul. Only thought about the gods, since mortals, they wouldn't be able to dominate him. But it's a surprise what you've done. You bastard! How could you even see the future? How did you know I was going to feed on the power of hundreds of souls? From the moment when you refused to form a descent in my image and likeness, I knew what your true purpose was. Mayuki would pounce against Keiga, but he himself would disappear as he was only a spectral form. Mayuki would fall to the ground, not being able to do anything. You're lucky that to this day is not the end of your life, but when that warrior's in front of you, you'll feel the real terror. I'm not afraid of anyone. I was able to beat you. There's no being more powerful than you, so don't brag. I don't care if you believe me or not. I'm just informing you, so you better start training cleanly. That essence would spread throughout the kingdom of the All, while Mayuki was very upset by the humiliation that Keiga had given her. I promise that I'll end every hope you have. You'll not be able to do anything against my queen, let alone come back to life. Returning to Universe 14, Kakarot was ready to set off towards Universe 15, so he would immediately start moving all over the place at amazing speeds, all over outer space, while saying, let's hope this god is much more friendly, since I don't want to continue ending those lives of those insects. I just want to exterminate the beings of the kingdom of the whole. Kakarot would arrive to where the powerful god was, but unlike the power of the previous three gods and power that emanated that goddess, it was very tiny, which even made that goddess blush a little. I'm so sorry. I don't think to have Nadia of use today. Don't worry, but are you really a goddess of destruction? That's right, sir. I'm a goddess of destruction. Even if my power's not so great, I always try to strive to get to survive from the heavenly four. Four celestials? Who are they? When they pass by, please be quiet or they'll end my life. The day had passed quickly, so by nightfall both were making their way towards Nin's palace. However, one of the four celestials would appear in front of Kakarot. Kakarot, get out of here! Thanks to you, I was able to realize the value of life, as well as how much I'm worth. I plan to give my life for you. Get out! Don't say stupid things, Nin. This damn talker, he's not even the chosen one, so his power must be mediocre. The Celestial had rushed against Kakarot, being useless, since as it were a hologram, Kakarot had disappeared, appearing on his back, so a great terror could be observed on the Celestial's face, since with that movement, he had finished with dozens of gods, and these died without even knowing that he had hit them. Kakaroto, without making a single movement, was able to release an incredible pressure, with which he would leave the Celestial unable to move. But to everyone's surprise, the Celestial was very determined. He was able to get rid of the pressure while rising to the top of Nin's planet, and his power did not stop growing, as even this time it seemed to be an unlimited power. Where are you getting so much power from? This isn't a power that belongs to him. But Kakarot, being the descendant of Keiga, the first being of the multiverse, with his great visual power was able to observe as the energy of all the planets that were around him began to enter his entire body. That's right, this Celestial fed on the power of the celestial bodies of the entire universe, so instantly, like a flash, he was able to deliver a powerful blow to Kakarot's stomach. This happens to you for underestimating me. So you are the damn guy who has ended the life of 3 supreme gods. But you are nothing more than a simple worm. Kakarot being hit with all that power was not being prepared. He had fallen to the ground with a big wound, so the Celestial would start laughing. But Kakarot's whole body would start to heal quickly, and the confidence of that Celestial would lead him to ruin, because instantly Kakarot would stand up and a big sky-colored light had been able to pass through everything around him. That's right, Kakarot was able to reach the Super Saiyan Blue, but the power was completely incredible. but the heavenly being, confident that he possessed all the power of the Universe 15, would try to start to wear down his energy, as he would throw great attacks, not caring about the power drain, which Kakarot was completely analyzing.
It's time! I have a great idea!
Kakarot began to expel his power, and from his entire body, a dark aura was able to cover the entire planet of Nin. So the Celestial, at the time of trying to absorb much more power, it was impossible for him, because that dark energy did not allow him to absorb energy, but he felt more panic when he realized that Kakarot was approaching him, and while his power was growing much more.
This is a real power, which I don't need for beings or planets, and it doesn't matter that I get caught in a place. My power's real, not like yours.
Nin was surprised to witness how Kakarot had been able to blend a celestial, beings that were not even above the power of an angel.
I can't believe it! The power that Kakarot possesses is amazing! I want to be like him.
Kakarot would begin to massacre his enemies, since on this occasion, the Celestial, having wasted so much energy, was not even able to defend himself from all the blows that Kakarot gave him. The Celestial would fall to the ground with surprising power, while large amounts of blood would come out of his entire body, since he wasn't able to stand. This isn't what's supposed to go out like this. I'm one of the 4 Celestials. I can't lose to pathetic mortal. That Celestial would try to stand up, but his whole body was completely shattered. Since Kakarot, despite causing him great physical damage, the most serious thing was all the internal damage that he had generated. That Celestial, since every vein of energy was sealed, and that's why he wasn't able to release much more power.
It's time to end your life. I don't like to end someone as weak as you, but you'll be a burden in the future, so I plan to eradicate you.
That Celestial wasn't able to do anything, would accept his fate. So Kakarot, as if he were a monster, would tear out his heart, and subsequently, with a great burst of energy, was able to pulverize it completely.
Kakarot, is that really you? Of course, Nin. Don't worry, but I won't allow any god or anyone to be able to hurt you. I plan to protect you with my life.
I promise to become more powerful so it won't be a burden to you.
Don't worry, Nin. You're not a bother, but I have to leave now as I want to fight with the last 2 supreme gods. Please, Kakarot, don't kill the last 2 gods, as they are from a pure heart. Just try to talk to them, or take me with you, please. Okay, Nin, we'll go together so we could create an alliance anyway. I have to find that dam.
The latter would only think, so instantly at a great speed they began to leave all over space, being able to quickly take to Universe 16, in which Kakarot was surprised to observe a god, since he had the appearance of a simple child.
Have we come to the right place? I can't believe the god of Universe 16's a boy.
The guy named Bastion, with a great blow, was able to send Kakarot to fly, since it had seemed to him a lack of respect. Kakarot would fall to the ground, and at the moment, he was dragged down a few mountains due to the power of Bastion's blow.
Nin, how long has it been since we saw each other? I don't know if you're with this bastard because of your will, but I plan to end his life because of that lack of respect for my person.
Nin, before being able to say anything, Bastion had disappeared, starting to give an authentic beating to Kakarot, who was not able to observe all the attacks since out of 10 that he was able to observe, the god connected 30 to him. That's right, Goku was only able to observe a small part of all the blows that were being given to him, because the speed of the enemy was overwhelming. Kakarot, in a lucky move, was able to deal him a big blow, which made him fall to the ground, but in a single blow, was able to even make him vomit large amounts of blood.
I can tell that this god has great physical power and incredible speed, but his weak point is endurance, because in one blow, I was able to do a great damage to him. Yeah, damn, that hurt me too much. I won't forgive you, even if you beg for your life.
The angry god had launched himself against Kakarot, but on this occasion, although Kakarot was still at a disadvantage, he was able to exchange several blows, which at every moment caused much more damage to the little god.
I can't believe it! Kakarot will be able to beat the lightning god, which he was able to beat any of us because of his great speed.
Both warriors were able to deal damage to themselves a big blow at the same time, with which both fell to the ground out of combat. Kakarot, because he had received millions of blows, while Bastion had received several blows, but out of an overwhelming power, returning to the Kingdom of the Whole, Mayuki had been able to stand up again, since his body had rejected all the absorbed energy, so he would be called Daishinken.
Isn't there somewhere where I can be able to fully recover?
Of course, if my lady. I'll take her to one of the heavenly rooms. Her regenerative power is amazing. Both warriors entered that dimension, in which Mayuki had the intention of leaving with a much greater power than had in the past.
I swear that I'll finish with that warrior that you've created. The only creation that can exist is Zeno-sama and Daishinken.
Mayuki, in the same way, would begin to channel a large part of his own energy, since Keiga had restricted the absorption of the power of the other beings, or even planets, so he had to rise on his own. Meanwhile, in Universe 15, the goddess Nin was granting a little of her power to both warriors, because both had been very badly injured. So after a few hours, Bastion was the first to wake up, which would point with a large sphere of energy towards Kakarot. I can't believe I fell at the hands of this miserable worm. Now if I plan to end his miserable life. Nin, realizing this with his maximum speed, would move, but it would be useless since the distance at which he was considerable. However, the sphere of energy being about to collide with Kakarot would disintegrate, and from his own aura a huge beast would form. Without Bastion being able to see something, he would be thrown to the ground with one claw, causing a great uproar, due to the power of that blow.
What the hell is that? How has Kakarot been able to react if he's out of combat?
But an incredible negative aura would cover Kakarot's entire body, from which his hair shakes from one side to the other, which made him look even more imposing.
Your heart doesn't possess evil like the other gods, but you're a scum trying to end my life without me being able to defend myself.
That hurt me too much. How do you have all that power?
It's not time to reveal my biggest secret to you, but I'll ask you once. Do you want to join us?
I don't know what you mean by joining you guys. What's your plan? What do they intend to do? Since if they want to eliminate Zeno-sama, of course I'll join. But that's impossible.
You're not entirely wrong, since we really plan to fight the king of all, with the one who calls himself his assistant priest.
Bastion wouldn't be surprised because what he had said earlier, he had said in the form of mockery, not in a literal way.
Bastion, he has been able to annihilate one of the four Celestials, the beings which have even humiliated us for millions of years. But we want to fight against Zeno-sama.
I can't believe what you're telling me, but of course count on me.
However, all over the place, the powerful warrior of dark energy would begin to appear. His negative power was so great that he was able to even make Kakarot panic, since for the first time he felt like the pressure of a single warrior was able to paralyze him.
Wow, how much are they not able to move that simple pressure? Don't make me laugh. I thought they were much more powerful than that.
Kakarot, using an energy sword, was able to cut his leg a little, and due to the pain stimulus, he was able to move and stand in front of this imposing warrior.
But if it's Shiro, the treacherous demon and the most powerful god of all universes, even the celestial ones avoid conflicts with Shiro.
So long no see, you goddess of Universe 14, Nin. I don't know what they want to do with this Saiyan, but if he's been able to beat up other companions, it's because he possesses great power.
The warrior, no matter how much his negative energy is, does not exude any murderous intention as far as I can tell. He only wishes to measure my powers.
Kakarot, without trusting himself, would access the Super Saiyan maximum power. But because of Bastion had caused him multiple injuries, he had been able to obtain a great Zenkai, which even his speed on this occasion was able to greatly increase.
Wow, you've been able to free yourself from my pressure, and your power's not low at all. You leave me amazed.
Kakarot, being about to say something, would be thrown with a great pressure towards an uninhabited planet, which at the moment of impact would be destroyed by its entirety. But that demon with an unnatural speed would begin to massacre Kakarot, which, with even of his blows, felt like even his life was taken away. So he would try to defend himself, but even his speed was much higher than the speed of Bastion.
Damn it, I'm not able to get rid of his punches. They do incredible damage to me. I don't think I'll be able to withstand that long if I keep getting his punches.
Kakarot would be sent flying back towards some rocks, but due to the power of the blow, he would be dragged a few meters back. So Shiro would be prostrated in the air.
I'm surprised at the stamina you possess, but you won't be able to do anything against me since I'm only using 40% of my power. I can't believe it. Shiro's power was said to be unlimited, but watching him fight in front of me, I'm not able to believe all the power he possesses.
I can't believe Kakarot's not able to do anything against him. He thought that with the power he possessed, no god was able to face him.
Shiro would begin to approach to where Kakarot was. He had even returned to his base state, so all his power had decreased in a great way. But at the moment in which Shiro would throw multiple spheres of energy at him to knock him out of combat, to everyone's surprise, Kakarot was able to dodge each of the spheres with incomparable precision. So the moment Kakarot opened his eyes, a great pressure would fall on everyone present, while his eyes would turn a silvery.
What's that power? Weren't you all using your power? Don't underestimate me.
But Kakarot said absolutely nothing because at the moment his body would continue to release much more energy. That's right, Kakarot had reached the perfect Ultra Instinct to its maximum power because he was the son of the powerful god Keiga, the first god of everything existing. And Kakarot, being his pure son, his creation, possessed an incredible level of learning. At the moment, as if it were a glow, a great light would rise all over the place, while Kakarot could be observed as his hair changed to a silver color, which it even made him observe much more dangerous and intimidating.
What happened to Kakarot? It's the first time I've seen that transformation.
I don't know what kind of transformation it is, but the pressure it's exuding is amazing. I can feel how the pressure of all of them collide and it doesn't bend.
This is a bit strange. My pressure is capable of bending any warrior, even the Heavenly Four, but the pressure if that warrior exudes is amazing.
Kakarot would begin to approach Shiro, who would also do the same, so both warriors, when facing each other, Shiro would throw a blow to him. But to surprise, Kakarot this time was able to dodge his fist. But at the moment, Shiro would be sent flying with his incredible power, which after millions of years would make him vomit some blood, which left him very surprised.
How great that you're a Saiyan! I wanted you to give me the battle I've always wanted.
Both warriors began to exchange millions of blows, but the battle this time was very balanced. While Shiro began to increase his power little by little, so as not to fall behind the power of Kakarot, meanwhile in the Kingdom of the Whole, Mayuki would begin to deal with each of his wounds with his own power, with which this time he didn't cause any damage, as there was no external power.
I hope you're ready, Keiga, so you'll only be able to watch as I end up with all your hope, damn it.
From the moment, Zeno-sama would appear in front of Mayuki.
From what Dai has informed me, you're my creator, but I want to play with you. It's not time, as I'm still recovering from my injuries, but rest assured that in a very short time, you'll have the best game of your life. Are you serious about that? In that case, I'll be looking forward to that game very much.
The moment Zeno-sama left, Mayuki's gaze would completely change.
Damn dwarf, good for nothing. Just let me recover completely. Luckily, you haven't been able to evolve yet, so absorbing you shouldn't be a problem.
My lady, how are you feeling? Is there anything I can help you with?
No, Daishanka, don't worry. I have to do this by myself, as I'm able to heal my internal energy, but I won't appreciate this dimension.
Don't worry, my lady. It's my duty as your creation. I will give you my life for you.
Daishanka would also leave that room, so Mayuki, being mostly recovered, would begin to struggle with herself within that dimension.
I have to be prepared since Keiga was much more agile than me on the battlefield, and I guess your son has that quality. I have to train my movements.
Mayuki would continue with his great recovery, as with his great training. Meanwhile, returning to the battlefield, both warriors were still very evenly matched, but their battle this time would draw the attention of the deities of the Kingdom of the Whole.
What's going on in Universe 15? Why haven't the four Celestials intervened?
Daishaken would realize how the struggle of both subjects, he was able to overcome the power of the four Celestials with great ease.
This can't be happening, since two gods can't fight each other, so for that very reason we'll end up with Universe 15.
But Daishaken, in a quick inspection of all the 8 universes, had noticed as several of his gods had died, so Furious would inform the king of all, Zeno-sama.
Great Zeno-sama, you should eliminate the universes from 13 to 18, so that they don't cause problems, since I'm sure a warrior occurring among themselves.
I can't accept this, so I plan to destroy all these 6 universes completely.
Zeno-sama would begin to eliminate every universe that did not have the presence of his god of destruction. And this was noticed by Nin, who would quickly get in the middle of both warriors.
Nin, don't interfere. I don't plan to end the life of this great warrior, but I want to test the limit of his power. No, it's not time for this. The useless Zeno-sama has eliminated the universes from 13 to 18 apparently, so we have to get out of here or we'll die.
Shiro and Kakarot likewise began to concentrate, feeling how millions of lives were disappearing quickly. So Kakarot, with the help of his teleportation, would try to leave for Universe 7, but it would be impossible for him. Instantly, a great white light would envelop everyone present. However, Shiro, along with Kakarot, would release all their power, but it was almost impossible for them to be able to withstand the energy of a king of all. But fortunately, they were able to create a dimensional hole, being sent to Universe 6, but Shiro and Kakarot were in terrible condition, using their own bodies so that Nin and Bastion were not affected by the power of a king at all. When they arrived in Universe 6, if it were a meteorite, all the warriors collided strongly with a planet, of which Nin and Bastion were only with several scratches, nothing serious, unlike Shiro and Kakarot, with which their bodies even seemed that they would collapse. Kakarot would return to his base state, but at the moment hundreds of lightning were scattered all over his body. So it is, the power beyond a god and enduring Zeno-sama's ability almost ended his life. Returning to the Kingdom of the Whole,
Apparently all those bastards have died. Now there are only 12 weakest and most obedient gods.
Now, if we have already got rid of those scum, I hope that now everything they'll have is great prosperity.
both deities would not give it of great importance, without knowing that their greatest rival and even Zeno-sama's brother was in Universe 6, preparing for the reunion with his brother. While Mayuki was also trying to recover in full, Bastion, with his great power, was able to put a powerful barrier in one of the planets of Universe 6 so everyone would rest until they completely recovered.
Nin, you like me are feeling fine. Wait a few hours, we'll be 100%, but I don't know how long it'll take for both of them to recover.
I'm sure they'll both come back quickly with their power being much greater than it is now. Zeno-sama, I hope you're ready for the day of your death.
The powerful god Bastion had been able to create that powerful barrier, but with the power that it had created, he had caught the attention of the god of that universe, who had quickly communicated with his angel.
Hey, Fords, is that the power of another god of destruction? This can't be, since when can another god who doesn't belong in his universe invade our universe?
Mr. Champa, that is forbidden, but there must be a good reason, so it will be better to leave with the god who has visited our universe.
Both deities quickly went to the place where they felt the power of the god Bastion, but when they reached the atmosphere of the planet, they weren't able to enter due to the powerful barrier that Bastion had placed on the planet. Champa would use the power of destruction, but he was surprised to realize how that barrier had received absolutely no damage.
But what the hell is that barrier made of?
I have to hit her directly with the power of destruction and nothing happened. Fords, destroy her.
As you command, my lord.
Vados, despite being a woman and being in the ranking of the most powerful angels, was surprised to realize how despite using a large part of her power, she wasn't able to do anything against that barrier.
This can't be true. I've used a lot of my power, but nothing seems to have happened to him.
Instantly from a portal, Bastion could be observed. Along with Nin, both deities were surprised to realize how two gods were in their universe. But these gods were known to be able to not need angels, to their power to be so great.
But if it's Bastion-sama and Nin-sama, tell me, how can we help you?
I understand that if you're considered supreme gods or also celestial gods, but despite your position, you cannot invade another universe without having consequences.
A great pressure would fall on the body of both deities, which fell to the ground, forming a large crater. But at the moment, Nin would place his hand on Bastion's shoulder so that he calms down.
No, Nin. It makes me angry that these damn gods are so arrogant. Despite being so weak, I want to end their lives.
But we can't do it, because if another god dies, Daisheki will start to suspect we have to stay low profile, while Shiro and Kakarot make a full recovery.
Bastion would decrease all his pressure, with which he was able to both deities be able to move freely.
I ask for an apology, only that we have a few problems in our universes, and through a dimensional hole we have fallen into your universe. Don't worry, Bastion-sama. You guys can stay as long as you want in my universe. It's your universe.
I appreciate your hospitality, but when we have solved what has happened, we will leave for our universes. I hope you don't mind.
I understand, Nin-sama, and I repeat, there's no problem whatsoever.
Both deities would leave, but Vados, she would be a little intrigued by everything that had happened. Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of the All, Mayuki had been able to heal all her wounds in full.
Finally, damn it! I've finally been able to heal these damn wounds. It's time to take over the power of that damn dwarf.
Mayuki would communicate with Zeno-sama mentally, so the King of All would come to his call quickly.
Mayuki-sama, I've arrived. Where are you? What is the game you have in mind?
But from his back, hundreds of golden threads were able to completely neutralize him.
It's a pity that this is the best of the games for me, but not for you, since you will become part of my... Why did you say? I don't understand. I thought we were going to play. Not that you would do this.
Your useless mind doesn't fully understand it, but it doesn't matter. Your power will now be mine, and with that, you will be able to help me with my power will rise in an incredible way. Mayuki would begin to absorb all the power of Zeno-sama, so Zeno-sama would begin to feel an incredible pain. His screams were evident, but in that dimension, nothing and no one was able to help him. While Mayuki was nourishing himself with all the power of Zeno-sama, but as surprising as it may seem, when Mayuki was nourishing himself with all the power of Zeno-sama, a very ancient seal in the same body had been activated. That's right, a seal from Keiga, which was able for Zeno-sama to access his combat form when his essence feels in danger, so all the power that Mayuki had absorbed would be taken away from him, and with one mighty blow had sent Mayuki flying.
Damn, I can't believe you call yourself my creator. You've tried to end my life. Now I'll end you myself, damn it.
Furious, Mayuki would stand up while releasing all her power in a surprising way, so instantly both launched themselves against the other, but the difference was obvious, because even though Zeno-sama possessed so much more power, Mayuki was still a little weakened. Zeno-sama did not know how to fight, so it was very difficult for her to keep up with Mayuki, who was in every exchange of blows, tried to knock him out of combat. His assimilation, being able to make all of his sea of energy expand much more, and even the veins of his entire body began to assimilate all the power of Zeno-sama. Meanwhile, in Universe 6, a few months had already passed in the same way, in which both warriors had awakened, but their internal system was completely shattered, since being able to withstand the power of a king at all, it was incredible.
Damn it! Getting my energy flow back will take me about 6 months. I don't have all that kind of time to recover.
Why don't you have that time? Do you have to do something?
I feel that you guys deserve me to tell you the truth about my origin, about Zeno-sama, about this whole multiverse, so I will.
Kakarot would begin to tell how he was created, as he was the younger brother of Zeno-sama, but he possessed the prowess on the battlefield, but the one who called herself Mayuki, one of the first creations, betrayed its creator, so he'd been wandering for millions of years. So for that reason, your power is incredible despite being only mortal.
I knew that you weren't an ordinary warrior, since even geniuses aren't able to advance at that speed. But I have to have enough power for when Mayuki of the Face. I feel that'll be very shortly.
Kakarot-sama, there's this place called the Heavenly Water, but the palace is not so far away that even the god or an angel takes about 1 month to reach that place. But it is said that the tests to be able to drink the heavenly water are too many, although of course the legends say that it releases your power, and if your internal system's destroyed, it's able to restore it completely and becoming much more resistant.
And with that, what you said is enough. If you wish to stay in this place, I'll understand since this trip is only mine.
Neen would at once place her hand on Kakarot's shoulder.
You are not alone, Kakarot. I don't know about my other companions, but for my part, I plan to accompany you and do everything possible to make it go well.
To know the heavenly water, what fun. Of course, count on me.
My condition at the moment is unfortunate, but of course you can count on me. I have already lived for many years.
I want to know if that heavenly water is a myth or reality. All the warriors began to move quickly through each of the 12 universes so that they had arrived in a few minutes. That's right, but instantly they reached the edge of Universe 12. From now on, our real journey begins. This was previously the limit of the 18 universes, but it remains the same. All the warriors entered that empty space, so instantly they began to move at amazing speeds. Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of the Whole, Mayuki had been able to master the power of Zeno-sama to 70%, so at that moment he would come out of that dimension, observing Daishinken. Mayuki was quickly going with the intention of putting him out of combat to absorb him. But Daishinken would notice his mistress, while she had a very serious, "It is my joy, my lady, that you have awakened, and the great Zeno-sama had disappeared. Well, I have been able to feel how the power became gigantic. At the same time, it became tiny, at times even surpassing the power of the great Zeno-sama."
So it is all true. A damn Keigo worm. I really leave his successor. I don't plan on being able to absorb Daishinken, since he currently serves me, being more alive than being set apart of mine.
My lady, with the disappearance of the king of everything, I'm sure it has to do with that gigantic power. So you're left to the mandate of the 12 universes.
In that case, I want to arrange all the power of the gods and angels be with their guard up, since a warrior like the one you define is definitely a powerful warrior. We cannot be with our guard down.
As you order, my lady. At this very moment, I'll communicate with all the gods and angels. Daishinken at the moment would communicate with each god and angel, being able to provide them with the information required, so that they are able to meet the expectations of Mayuki.
I have to have the whole divine world on alert, because if that Saiyan comes from behind, I'm sure he'll be able to do to me terrible harm.
Meanwhile, the warriors would continue approaching that place, but no matter how much they advanced, it seemed to have no limit, so they had stopped for a moment.
My body's grieving since Zeno-sama's trying to race us. Let's slow down a little. Kakarot, don't worry. I can help you because if we want to stop Mayuki, we must make an effort.
This was how each god on this occasion were able to help out Kakarot, while Mayuki creating an army with the new power he had obtained. The powerful Mayuki would begin to form her entire army with the intention of ending once and for all with the descendants of Keiga. However, in the confines of the 18 universes, there were the other gods, known as the Resistance, since all the other gods and angels had fallen before the manipulations of Mayuki. My lady, the gods and angels are at any order you arrange.
It seems perfect to me, Daishinken, since we have to finish all this in the shortest possible time.
That's right. I intend to avenge Zeno-sama's death. I can't believe that there's a subject more powerful than the king at all besides you. Mayuki would say to herself,
What a fool he is. He really thinks that the All-King has been annihilated by a warrior of the 18 universes. But he doesn't know that currently the All-King is part of my incredible power. From the ground and even from several walls of the castle of the King of the Whole, hundreds of shadows were beginning to form while taking various forms.
That's right, the powerful Mayuki was able to summon the army of the undead, also known as the Warriors of the Underworld. A very muscular warrior had approached Mayuki.
My lady, the Heavenly Underworld Army has been successfully summoned. We're awaiting your orders.
Great. I just need a signal to get that miserable worm eradicated once and for all.
Meanwhile, with the other warriors realizing how hundreds of energies were gathering in the kingdom of the powerful Zeno-sama, Bastion would take Kakarot in his arms, while Nin would do the same with Shiro.
There's no time. Apparently Mayuki's gathering the most powerful warriors he's able to summon. We must get Shiro and Kakarot to drink the sacred water.
Both gods, with their maximum speeds, began to move through space-time at a great speed. However, on one hand, it was great since they were able to arrive in less time. But on the other ranks of the Underworld Army, one of the warriors was able to possess a greater perception of the energy of living beings.
My lady, I've been able to locate 4 warriors who move at incredible speed, while one of them possesses an energy just as pure as yours.
Mayuki's face would change to a big smile.
If that's true, and you haven't come to this place, it's because you haven't been able to withstand Zeno-sama's ability. So you would want to heal all your wounds, and that I will never let you.
My lady, any orders you have for us?
All the gods and angels and army of the underworld, I want those 4 to be brought to me, dead or alive.
Rake, with his mental ability, was able to transmit the information of the 4 warriors, so instantly each of the warriors who were in the kingdom of all had left at a great speed, which Bastion and Nin had noticed because Kakarot and Shiro had been knocked out of combat again.
Damn, they've located us, Bastion. We must hurry. How long before we reach the sacred water?
Nin, it won't be long. I'll give my life, but I'll give you the necessary time. And excuse me for what I'm going to do.
Nin, without understanding anything, had received a powerful blow in the stomach, which had received incredible damage, but would be thrown with an amazing power towards the planet.
Ah, that hurt me too much. So this is the planet. I didn't like the way I arrived at all, but I have to help Kakarot.
Bastion would take Shiro's hand, so he would immediately begin to transmit a large part of all his power. However, Shiro's body had rejected Bastion's power, which had immediately made Shiro wake up.
I never thought that your Bastion would give his life for me. Don't worry, you're alone won't be alone being able to do anything against these guys. We'll both fight. No, Shiro, please, you still need the heavenly water. The conversation is over. These fuckers have arrived.
At the moment, 2 subjects arrived in front of everyone else. However, inside their bodies, the divine energy of all the beings of the kingdom of the whole were perceived, including Daishinken. That's right, Mayuki had granted permission for them to absorb all the beings of the divine energy.
They better absorb these miserable insects that are useless for nothing. Then I'll absorb them all.
The 2 subjects emanated an incredible power, so much so that they caused destruction all around. However, at the moment, Shiro would still expel his incredible power, now losing against the power of his rivals.
Bastion, you grant me the honor of fighting by your side.
It's okay, Shiro. Let's make a great team and finish these miserable worms.
In a matter of seconds, without words, all the warriors began with their great fight. Meanwhile, on the planet where Nin and Kakarot had fallen in the distance, a waterfall could be observed, which was capable of emanating an incredible divine essence.
So this is the sacred water of the 18 universes.
Nin, without wasting any more time, would throw Kakarot into the water, as she was even regenerative. However, at the moment that Kakarot would enter the water, his wounds began to heal at an incredible speed, but the power did not grow in the slightest. So Kakarot would regain consciousness, and at the moment of opening his eyes in front of him, he was able to observe his father and the creator, Kega.
Father, I'm sorry. I haven't been able to do anything against those bastards. They were able to completely overcome me. I wasn't able to meet my brother.
You're wrong, Kakarot. This is the future that I had foreseen for you. Since my eye of destiny does not fail, and in this place, it's where you become the next creator god. I'm proud of you, my son.
Father, what do you mean? I have no more strength. My internal system's in pieces. I can't fight.
I'm proud of the power you achieved in this place. I never thought that in this same waterfall you'd be able to overcome all your limits.
Kakarot would immediately wake up completely. That's right, it seemed all the simple illusion. So instantly, an incredible power was able to make all 18 universes tremble. It would even make Mayuki shudder, which was able to feel a gigantic power.
What? That can't be! I can't believe that that's the power of him. What the hell have you done, Keiga? Even you didn't possess all that power.
Returning to the battlefield, Shiro, Bastion, and Nin, the three were about to receive the final blow. Even at the moment, the incredible pressure fell on all the bodies, being able to even destroy every one of their bones, while a very strange aura spread all over the place of the 18 universes, or rather, what was left of them, since instantly an imposing warrior had appeared in front of all the warriors. While to the trio of gods, their energies began to return to normal. They even felt how her power had increased a little.
Wow, is this the true power of a sacred water? The power of Kakarot has risen in an impressive way. I can't believe it.
Well, when all this is over, I want to fight with you, Kakarot. Or I don't know if I have to call you Creator God Kakarot from now on. Bastion was surprised by the pressure emanating from Kakarot's body. However, each of his wounds were completely healed.
I appreciate that you've given your life for me, but I'll never let you die for me. I'll be the one who protects you, and right now, I want to end Mayuki's dam.
But in front of them, two immense powers had been unleashed, although for Kakarot, they were absolutely nothing. The duo of infernal warriors launched themselves against Kakarot, with which on this occasion they began to give him millions of blows all over the body, which cost him absolutely nothing. But the gods didn't realize this because at the moment of a powerful combined attack, they were able to send Kakarot flying, creating great chaos all over the place. No matter what power you've obtained, from that even a creator god wouldn't be able to come out immune. But they were amazed when from his fall the presence of Kakarot was felt, and as if they were a monster, he had made them fall to the ground.
No matter what you do, you'll be annihilated by me, and that neither you nor anyone else will be able to avoid it. But I'll not send you to the underworld. I'll turn you into ashes, so that you won't be able to even be born again.
The duo of gods tried to stand up, but it was impossible for them, since the simple pressure of Kakarot seemed to end their lives. While Kakarot was approaching, in front of it, a pressure just as fearsome as that of Kakarot became present, while a female voice would be heard rumbling all over the battlefield.
Well, well, so you're the bastard creation of the useless Keiga. Right now, I'm going to end your pathetic life.
Mayuki, with the intention of absorbing both warriors, was surprised that Kakarot was ahead of his movement, because when he was about to absorb their power, their bodies, along with his divine soul, exploded to hundreds of pieces all over the place.
I know you like to become powerful because of the power of others, but it's a pity that this time that'll be impossible for you.
Instantly, both as if it were simple flashes, they began to exchange thousands of blows all over the place. That's right, the power of each of their fists was incredible, so much that this time they were able to destroy everything around them. While the trio of gods were safe thanks to a barrier that Kakarot had created previously, Kakarot, possessing the dexterity of his father Keiga, was able to connect a powerful blow in Mayuki's face, sending her to the ground to fly. While Mayuki not fighting for millions of years, Kakarot's blows would cause him incredible damage.
Apparently your end is near. But ending your pathetic life, I want you to inform me where my brother Zeno-sama is. I'll never tell you, and don't even think that I'm already defeated. You are in my attack range.
Mayuki would create a powerful explosion with his own body, but it was a trap, since the original body wasn't able to get out of underground, starting to beat Kakarot, who had not been able to dodge that explosion being so powerful.
This is bad. The explosion has apparently been able to cause great damage to Kakarot. We have to be able to help him before it ends his life.
You're wrong, Nin. Since Kakarot is pressuring the creator goddess with her simple guard, the power she's been able to get is incredible. I was thinking the same thing, since no matter how much Kakarot gets hit, his power hasn't decreased in the slightest. But everyone was surprised when they realized how Kakarot held that goddess of the head, and with an overwhelming power, he would destroy everything around him with the body of the goddess. So, large amounts of blood were scattered all over the place. Kakarot instantly, with a big kick, was able to send her to the planet base, almost destroying it completely due to the power.
There's no point of fighting you anymore, because your power is drastically decreased.
so we won't gain anything by prolonging the battle. Mayuki trying to stand up would be impossible, although superficially he had not had some of the damage because his regeneration was able to heal every wound, but he wasn't able to regenerate the power lost in the battle. Kakarot would begin to approach Mayuki, which this time would feel real terror. That's right, Kakarot's power was surpassed by her dozens of times.
I beg you, please spare my life. Even if you want, I can be your slave, or I can even be your wife.
That's right, Miyuki would try to seduce Kakarot just like he had done with Keiga. But it turned out in vain since Kakarot at the moment with a scythe was able to seriously damage her angelic divine essence. So even Zeno-sama would return, and at the moment Kakarot of a great attack was able to exterminate her without leaving any trace.
What happened? Where am I? The last thing I remember was that Mayuki was trying to absorb me.
I finally met my brother. So you're Zeno.
Zeno-sama was surprised just as thousands of memories of his father would quickly develop, gaining the knowledge of his brother Kakarot.
You must be very powerful since you're able to beat Mayuki, but everything better get back to normal.
Zeno-sama, with his great power and with the help of Kakarot, they were able to get each of the gods and angels to return to each of their universes, just like the supreme gods, while Kakarot would rule all the universes together with his brother Zeno-sama.
Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.
It's like good.